Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Simply Nerdy. I'm your host Steven, and I'm joined today by Anthony again.
Hey guys.
If you hear any noises in the background, I'm sorry. Hopefully you won't. My daughter's here on the floor with me. And, yeah. Anyway, let's get on with it. So we wanted to do a separate video talking about our predictions. I mean, not predictions, but the possibility of, because there's a Switch Lite, there may be a possibility for a Switch Pro. So I'll let Anthony take it away. I think he has a lot to say about this, and then I'll give my little 2 cents. But Anthony, take it away.
I guess my first thing is just that it's kind of disappointing that we have a Switch Lite on the horizon, but no news on a Switch Pro.
Nor is there going to be, according to Nintendo, saying that there's no other hardware going to be announced this year.
This year, anyway.
And I don't know my sources for that. Sorry, can't say that either.
I do have hope that the one thing that I have hope for is that now that the rumor about the Switch Lite has obviously been substantiated, that maybe that means that maybe the rumor about the Switch Pro will also eventually be substantiated in the same way, because those two I feel like were always reported together, and so if the one was true, maybe the other will be too. But you might have already watched our video about our thoughts on the Switch Lite. For me, I indicated that the Switch Lite was not for me, but the Switch Pro absolutely would be. I guess it all depends on what it offers, and that's what I want them to give us more information on, and I'm a little bit nervous about what it could entail. Some of the thoughts that I've heard from some people is that, or some of the reports, is that it's going to be more of a hardware revision on the level of the 3DS to the new 3DS. If that's the case, that's going to be super disappointing, because that was a very minor upgrade that didn't really seem to do much for the system. We talked about this in a previous video, I believe.
Yes.
Just that there wasn't really many games that it seemed like took advantage of that, and it's just the only reason I got one personally, and then I almost kind of regretted it afterward, was because I liked the idea of stable stereoscopic 3D, because that was a problem.
It was a big problem. It was scary.
So I liked that. Plus, a little extra power doesn't hurt. But what I would want out of a Switch Pro is something that is powerful enough to start being able to keep a little bit more parity with competitor consoles with the ports that come over.
There you go. That's where I was going to go with it.
I want to be able to, and for me, like, I'm going to start off by simply saying that power is probably, and graphical power is probably the very least important thing to me when it comes to video games. I want to get as much of it as I can when it can be given, but, that's really the least important thing to me. And I think that that's more true than I think the narrative lets on. We can see that with being proved with games like Celeste, for example, which has NES graphics, but is still an incredible game. That being said, though, I always want as much as I can get, and what I would love to see is the Switch Pro bringing enough extra power to the table that when they announce these Switch ports, the Pro version will be able to do it with a lot less compromises. Maybe the resolution downscaling could be less of a problem, or maybe even removed. Who knows how powerful they can make it? Again, I'm not part of the Digital Foundry or anything like that, so I don't know.
I think our real concern just comes in when we think of the future of both Sony and Microsoft announcing their new consoles coming out here next holiday, and us being concerned about third-party support on the Switch continuing when competitors are so far ahead. Nintendo, these new systems are going to be supporting 8K, 120 frames a second. Nintendo's still back in the 1080p days. Like, it's going to be a hard scale down for developers, to the point that maybe they won't even bring their games over. And like Anthony said, we don't care about power, or we care about graphics to a point, but like, it's not the biggest deal to us either. We care about the play of the games and how fun they are.
and not what they look like.
And not what they look like necessarily, but at the same time, we do need to be concerned about next generation support.
Exactly. Yeah. I think my biggest concern. So you bringing that up. We definitely still don't know what Nintendo has on the horizon, but I mean, if they really intend to only do a kind of halfway hardware revision when Sony and Microsoft are already talking about these extremely powerful machines, then chances are the companies that develop for them are going to have these 8K zero load time super smooth games that we can't even pretend will go on the Switch anymore. Like right now, like we have proof that the current gen games can work on the Switch to a degree, and some of them have too many compromises to make the Switch.
No pun intended.
Yes. But I think that if we go from 8K 120 FPS to like what the Switch is currently capable of, then that I'm not even going to pretend that I'm optimistic that would happen.
Yeah.
So maybe a Switch Pro isn't the solution. Maybe Nintendo instead has some sort of next gen that they're going to roll out at the same time to pursue being able to still remain competitive on that front.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. I've heard talk that Nintendo intends to keep the Switch around for an extended life cycle. So who knows how that's going to work. But the struggle is the strength of the Switch. One of the most undeniable strengths is third-party support. That thing has had probably the best third-party support since the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And that's honestly what's making it so great, or one of the major things at least. And
not to mention the first-party games. I just have to throw those out there. First-party games are fantastic.
Well, that's
fantastic.
That's the true sell of the system. But I mean, I mean, the Wii U had fantastic first-party games as well, but it just was a desert between those. Yes. So we don't want
no third-party support.
Right.
Anyway, we don't want that to be the next thing with the Switch Pro or the Switch 2.0 or whatever it is.
If there even is going to be something like that, who knows? All I know is that if the power gap becomes as big as it currently looks like it could be, if Nintendo doesn't have an answer to that, then I'm worried that third-party support could be in trouble. On the flip side, though, one thought I had is that, who knows, maybe, I mean, I don't know if this is actually going to be a case, but perhaps what we'll see is maybe an opposite problem. Maybe, well, it wouldn't be a problem in that case, at least for Nintendo. Maybe we'll see that instead the developers will say, well, you know what, we still want to make games for the Switch. And so maybe those are the ones that maybe the Switch will continue to get support, and we'll just not see those on the other consoles at all. I don't know. I don't even know if that thought makes any sense. But I think that we've seen proof enough that the Switch is a hit with developers, and so maybe that won't be a problem at all. But it's a huge hardware gap, and I'm worried that Nintendo doesn't intend to try and at least stay, reasonably competitive.
Yep.
So it sounds to me like their intent is to worry more about the cloud gaming front, which is another thing that's
been rumored.
Go ahead.
No, it's not been rumored. I guess they actually said that's what they were kind of looking into, but
I don't like that idea. Here's my reason against wanting them to pursue cloud gaming. You know what? Maybe that is the future. I think there's a lot of excitement around Stadia and some of the other offerings.
Project X Cloud.
But my problem with that is the Switch. Its power, I think, for me, lies in the fact that I can take these games wherever the heck I want. And the idea that maybe in the future they'll be pursuing cloud gaming means that I can't do that anymore. And so to me,
you have data service.
Well, I mean, like they're always showing people playing Breath of the Wild up at the top of a mountain. There's no way they're getting data there.
Nope.
So my point is, you know what? Am I one of those people that does that? No, but removing the option in the first place when they've made it such a heavy selling point in a lot of their their commercials. It just kind of seems like they're stepping back from something that makes the Switch so great in the first place. So I don't know what I think about cloud gaming. I guess the future will tell.
All we know is Nintendo, you cannot do a half-step model of the Switch, like bigger screen, 1080p resolution with 1080p dock. No.
We need something more.
We need something more than that. We need at least 1080p handheld, bigger screen, but with 4K support with the dock. Something like a full-blown big step in hardware for third-party to come over, if they'll even still do that. I don't know.
Which
it seems that seems reasonable, but we don't know.
We still don't know the landscape of the future for game developing. Who knows? Nintendo might have a really good ace up their sleeve, and I think that the appeal of the Switch is proven eternal. Like there have been so many people who have expressed the idea that the Nintendo Switch gave them their video games back because their busy lives could fit into the crevices of their busy lives, and I feel like that's becoming increasingly true about me, and I think just adults in general.
Oh yeah.
And I that's something I don't want to lose. I personally feel like I can't go back to being permanently docked to a screen. And that may seem funny considering that I feel like that's one of the most important things for the Switch, but having the flexibility and the functionality of being able to do whichever I want is what makes the Switch so magical to me. And so anyway, I think we're kind of all over the place here. The point is, we're excited the idea that the Switch Lite might mean a Switch Pro in the future. We want it to be a bigger deal than just the new 3DS version of the Switch. If you get my meaning, I don't think it's going to be enough. And we don't want it to be
called the new Switch either.
Oh please, get rid of the new thing.
New needs to go away.
Whoever came up with that?
Okay, that's another rant by itself.
It will not go there. I just can't believe that they loved that word so much that they just would tack it on to everything new.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. You heard it here first.
Yes. So, at any rate, bring us a Switch Pro. Please make it so that you have some sort of good answer for competing with your competitors.
This next generation.
And
if you need to, take the time to develop it to that new standard.
Well,
don't announce it until you're ready. For example, actually, there is no example. You have to wait till at least next E3. That'd be a good time to talk about it. I was going to say a couple E3s, but they don't have a couple of E3s. They'll have one.
Before the next
generation starts in the holiday of next year.
Is that really?
They only have one E3.
Holy crap!
So
these generations.
Let's go.
So
come on.
Yeah, I think they just need to have a solid answer to that. Because if their answer is play the Switch, then they're totally resting on their laurels, and that's not a good thing.
Not a good thing. We want Nintendo to succeed, not drop off you.
Right. So, anyway, I think that pretty much sums up our thoughts on that too. That's the Switch Pro is the version we care for, but only if it's a worthwhile upgrade.
If it's a Pro.
If it really
if
is.
It lives up to its name and it's not called new.
Yes. So, I guess time will tell. We won't know this year, but hopefully soon. Anyway, I think that about sums up my thoughts. I guess I'm just being a worrywart, but I love Nintendo, so don't.
We do. If you like this video, please give us a comment down below and a like, and please subscribe. It really helps us out. And please let us know if you are excited for the Switch Pro and what you want it to be capable of, and if you think it exists, because after this, I kind of think it does. At least I hope it does.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And please, legitimate upgrade.
Yes.
Please be somewhat reasonable to compete with third party, so that they will support the system. Anyway,
I honestly don't think they're going to get 8K. No,
they're not. That's okay. You don't have to.
Get as close as you can.
Yes, 4K is good enough for me. So do that, Nintendo, please. Anyway, you heard it here first, and until next time,
keep it nerdy.